I'm Austin Heyman. Welcome to Seniors Today, a monthly program produced by the Commission on Aging and devoted entirely to issues and interests of Montgomery County seniors. This month we will talk about a recent event held here in the county honoring more than 150 World War II veterans. And we visit the kitchen of our favorite nutritionist, Melanie Polk. But first we hear from a great organization providing many valuable programs and services for seniors, AARP. Of course, everyone knows about AARP, but perhaps you may not know all of the things they provide and advocate for. And joining me in the studio to tell us about these services is the AARP Maryland State Director, Hank Greenberg. Well, welcome to Seniors Today.
Thanks so much, and thanks for having us.
Well, the state office, I guess, is now, you were telling me it was about 12 years old.
Yeah.
What is its primary function, and what are these services that Montgomery County can receive from AARP?
It's a good question. Number one, I think it's become an evolving thing at AARP. We have a tremendous amount of resources. We do a tremendous amount of advocacy, and then ultimately we really are a community organization.
So the resources. The resources.
I think most people probably know about driver safety. In fact, here in the county, we have about 11 courses going on.
Excellent programs.
And in fact, the oldest in the nation. And I understand that some insurance companies will actually give you a discount if you do the program. Right. And I'm going to make a plug here that for veterans, during the month of November, there will be a discount for veterans who are interested in taking the course. It's actually free if you take the course at a class. It'll be a 50% discount if you did it online, and the course is now available online. So that's one example. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I think people know a lot about are the tax aid, which is coming up soon in the spring. And it'll be a terrific thing to do to have. We actually did 550,000 tax returns across the country last year, and it's all run by volunteers.
Yes, it's a very active program in Montgomery County.
You're right, and the thing that's beautiful about it is it's both a service that people can give, and it's also a service that people get, and that's really gets to the third point, which is about community, and that's really what we're doing here.
You also have is a bill payer program, I think, that is done now with Senior Connection.
That's right, and I think you were very instrumental in making sure that that connection happened for us.
Advocacy is something that you, I know personally, have been deeply involved in.
You're right. Before becoming the state director, I was the advocacy director in the state office in Maryland. And one of the things we advocate, I'd say the things we really are pushing very hard for, and we're going to continue on this path, is to make sure that people have an opportunity to age in place. So that is 90% of our members say they want to be able to age in place, not in an institution, whether it's assisted living or nurse. Now, of course, it's great to have those if you need them, but there are a lot of people who don't really need that level of care, or they don't need, or they can get the level of care they need at home. And until this past year, 80% of the money that the state was paying for Medicaid for home and community-based service was going to nursing homes rather than home and community-based care. And through our advocacy, and when I say advocacy, it's our staff team, but also tremendous amount of volunteer support that let our legislators know. The change has gone from 80-20, 80% going to nursing homes, 20% to home and community-based. Now it's 65%, 35%, and our ultimate goal in 2015, for example, is going to be 50-50. We want to see that happen.
So that's, I think it's referred to as the Medicaid waiver?
That's exactly, the older adults waiver.
Oh, and across the state, there are thousands of people that are waiting for that.
There are 20,000 people are on the waiting list now. Now, of course, in Maryland, AARP has about 860,000 members, and in Montgomery County, over 50,000 members as well.
Wow. PEPCO is something that I've seen AARP's name connected with.
Very much so.
And that's a very sensitive topic in Montgomery County.
It is, if you like to have your lights on, it is. Yeah, you're right. It's been a very volatile time, I think, particularly for Montgomery County residents who have suffered inordinately as a result of really poor maintenance over the years. And these aren't my words, these are the words of the Public Service Commission that fined PEPCO $1 million. And that was the first time in my memory that a fine like that has ever been issued against a firm. We began our efforts with respect to utilities, not just Pepco, by the way. It's Pepco, BG&E, Delmarva, you know, over on Eastern Shore. But we've been very active in making sure that the money coming out of the pocket of the consumer is for the rates, not for surcharges that they are attempting to place on top of rates, which is now the new theme song of Pepco, of Washington Gas, of BG&E. They're looking now to move away from the rate structure and now go to, I would like to have in addition to the rate that you're paying every month, they want to have an additional $2 here and $2 there. The electric companies want it, the gas companies want it. And we have been fighting it. And in fact, we won this year. There was a $2 surcharge bill in the legislature. They bypassed the Public Service Commission. The Public Service Commission had already said no. And they went from there to the legislature to try to get what they couldn't get from the Public Service Commission, a $2 surcharge. And they tried to make that happen. And we defeated them by 1 vote. And so that'll be back this year.
Well, that's an important contribution for everybody, I think. Now, and the newer topic that you mentioned before we went on the air focuses, I think it's new, is caregiving.
You're right.
And tell us a little bit about what you're thinking about there.
I'm glad you asked, because caregiving is about to become really a new but really important avenue of resource for people who are faced with, and I'm saying I'm one of them, as somebody who in the last year of my mother's life never thought of myself as a caregiver. I thought of myself as a son who does what a son does for a parent. And it may be a parent, it may be another member of the family, but caregiving is, I think, something that people in their 50s and 60s, there are a lot of people in their 50s and 60s who are caring for people who are in their 80s and 90s. And the Resource Center, and AARP has a terrific new web page up on called www.aarp.org/caregiving. And it's also in Spanish, which would be www.aarp.org/CUIDAR.
Well, you also, now we ought to be sure that everybody has the website of your office.
Yes.
Which is?
That one's www.aarp.org/MD.
And you have a phone number?
And we do have a phone number. It's 1-866-542-8163, and that's toll free.
Because a lot of the information that you provided today, and even more, is in your newsletter, which people can subscribe to. It's a great newsletter. It comes out every week.
Every Friday. I don't know how we do it, but we do. And we have, I do know how we do it, actually. It's a person by the name of Jen Holtz, who are Associate State Director for Outreach, who does a magnificent job. And in addition to her outreach activities, she took on the objective of having a newsletter, and it's really worked out. It's got a tremendous response.
So if folks want to tap into the information you've provided today and lots more,
yes,
that's the place to go.
That's the place to go, and you'll get an email every Friday letting you know what we've done this week and what's coming up.
It's quite impressive. I get it every week. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure.
When we come back, we'll tell you about some things Montgomery County has been doing for our veterans. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever parked illegally in a reserved, accessible parking space?
And thought, what's the harm? I'm only going to be a minute.
We know how important it is to have reserved parking.
And the adjacent striped access aisles provide necessary space needed for assistance devices like my wheelchair and my service dog.
Respect the need for reserved parking and the laws that govern its use.
On behalf of everyone with accessible plates and placards,
we are asking you
to respect the space.
Serving your community is a great feeling. The Montgomery County Volunteer Center can connect you to hundreds of volunteer opportunities available throughout the area. Are you a student, senior, professional, community group, or business looking to serve? Simply visit our website to select what's right for you and get great ideas from past projects with our volunteer toolkits, or share a success story of your own. The Montgomery County Volunteer Center. Make an impact in your community. Where will you serve?
Welcome back to Seniors Today. Recently, Montgomery County honored more than 150 World War II veterans at the Civic Building located at One Veterans Place in downtown Silver Spring. Ted Koppel was the host, and the speakers included elected officials and many veterans themselves. And one of the organizations that planned the event was the Montgomery County's own Commission on Veterans Affairs. Joining me to tell us more is Bill Gray, the chair of the Commission on Veterans Affairs. Well, welcome to Seniors Today.
Thank you, Olson. Great to be here.
Well, you had this big event recently. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it was, I believe, the brainchild of Neil Greenberger, and he's an attorney for the county. He was at Baltimore Washington International and saw a flight of Honor Flight coming in. Honor Flight is a national organization which brings World War II vets into Washington, D.C., free of charge to them, to see their World War II memorial and other memorials throughout the city. Neil thought this would be a great idea for our veterans here in Montgomery County and the surrounding area. So he put this program together on a shoestring, got the county executive on board, got the county council on board, and I don't know his connections, but got Ted Koppel to be the master of ceremony.
That's great.
And it was great.
Yeah.
And so we had 155.
And you heard a lot of good stories, I guess.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Well, now, how did this the Veterans Affairs Commission is new in the last couple of years? How did that get started?
We were started in 2009 by the county exec.
Well, he himself is a veteran of.
Yes, he is. He was a infantry captain in Vietnam,
Right.
and so we've. He's been he's been there, done that.
Yes.
So he's a strong advocate for veterans.
Right.
He decided it was time to honor our veterans, get information to our veterans, and so he brought it forward, and we've been in existence from 2009, and we've been able to accomplish a few things for our veterans over the years.
Give us some examples of what other things you've been working on.
Okay. The first thing we did was to advocate for having the Rockville Library renamed Rockville Memorial Library.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
First several meetings we had of our commission, we had Gold Star families come and talk to us, expressing their interest in having the library renamed to honor specifically their children and spouses who have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. But the library has also been renamed Rockville Memorial Library to honor those who have died in other conflicts: Korea, World War II, Vietnam, Iraq I. So that was the first thing we've done. Another thing we've done is to get 65 VASH vouchers, Veterans Administration Supported Housing vouchers, come directly to our homeless veterans here in the county and their families, to get them off the street, to get them some help, medical help.
Yeah, I don't think very many of us know that there are homeless veterans in Montgomery County.
The powers that be think that Montgomery County is a rich county.
And
so
we have homeless veterans.
We do, yes. At any point in time, it might vary from 50 to 100.
Wow.
And that's people living out on the street. Other people who are considered homeless would be someone who doesn't have a fixed address and may bounce from relative to friend, living in the basement or on a couch.
Wow. Now, looking towards the future, do you have some plans for working on now?
Well, immediately we have Veterans Day in November,
right?
And we have set up a speakers bureau where a number of our commissioners have gone out and spoken in schools.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yes. And the county exec is planning to have a breakfast with the presidents of local colleges and talk to them and have them give thought and ideally develop programs for our veterans in the schools. Montgomery College, in the 3 different campuses, Rockville, Tacoma Park, and Germantown, has, I believe, 650 to 700 veterans and active duty personnel in school.
Wow. Well, we certainly thank you for your service, which was in Vietnam, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And for all of the veterans in our county. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
We want to take a look at that event that we were just talking about to hear some of the stories that came out of that great event.
On behalf of Montgomery County Executive Isaiah Leggett, County Council President Roger Berliner, and the entire City Council and all of the residents of Montgomery County, I want to welcome you to a very special day as we honor more than 150 veterans of World War II who are here with us today, and remember the many who served America and the entire world 70 years ago.
I was living here in Washington, D.C. I worked for the post office, so I was sorting my own mail. In fact, I sorted my draft notice. Instead of taking it, I put it in the mail, let them deliver it, because I had to go into the service at that time. I guess I was just a youngster. I must have been about 19 years old at that time. And I guess I didn't realize where I was. I mean, when I look back, I'm fortunate as well as a lot of other people.
So I was chosen by my squad leader to be number 2 in the point. And of course, the point, you know, are 2 guys who walk ahead of the lead squad. So my number 1 and number 2 man, which was me, headed down the hill, and about 40 or 50 yards down, there was a burst of gunfire, and I was shot down. I was not able to move because I had been shot down in both legs. And so I was left there in the forward slope.
Our mission was destroy the aircraft or destroy the facility. We weren't out to kill Germans. The way I put it, we wanted to destroy the war-making potential. My one area of victory, we were escorting B-24s. Part of Beachy Aerodrome was a target, as well as the nearby marshalling rail yards. And it happened that some Focke-Wulf 190s tried to penetrate the bomber's stream, and my element was dispatched. And the pilot chose to dive toward the ground from the formation altitude to try to gain speed to get away. Fortunately, I was able to stay with him, and I always say, well, he made a fatal turn, because thinking back on it, if he'd have yanked to the right, I wouldn't have had a chance probably to get around and get my gun lead on him. He made a right turn, and I just hadn't been in the right position to.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. Every year we talk our way back into the kitchen of the director for the county's senior nutrition program. Her name is Melanie Polk, a registered dietitian, and recently she invited us back to learn of some new and healthy ways to use vegetables.
Hi, I'm Melanie Polk, registered dietitian and director of the senior nutrition program for Montgomery County, Maryland. We all know how difficult it is to get those 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. In speaking with a group of seniors recently at one of the senior centers in the county, I learned that most seniors had never even heard of roasting vegetables. So we're going to show you how to roast vegetables today, whether they're with winter vegetables or with summer vegetables. Roasting brings out the sweetness, and they caramelize beautifully and taste just great. We're also going to look at sweet potatoes today. Most of us know about that traditional sweet potato casserole at Thanksgiving time that uses cream and brown sugar and lots of butter. But today we're going to do it a little differently without any of those ingredients, so you can enjoy sweet potato casserole any time of year. Nothing could be easier than preparing roasted root vegetables. What I'm going to do today is mix together some chopped carrots, some chopped parsnips, and some chopped up fresh beets. To that, I'm going to add a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to mix that together until all the vegetables are coated with olive oil. And then I'll add just a dash of freshly ground black pepper. And if you like, just a dash of salt. My favorite part of these, though, is adding fresh herbs. I like to take a little bit of rosemary, and I'll just take a couple of, just a tad of fresh raspberry, and I'm going to do the same to fresh thyme. I like to just pull off those leaves, just like that, add them. I'm going to mix them up. Get all those herbs just mixed right in there. And I'm going to put them on a pan that I've already sprayed with a little bit of cooking oil spray. Get them nice and even in a single layer. And then I'm going to put them in the oven at about 400 degrees for about 30 minutes until they're just tender. It's been about 30 minutes. Let's take a look. Beautiful, caramelized and ready to eat. Remember, these are roasted root vegetables, but you can use any summer vegetables that you like. They're sweet, they're delicious, and you'll want to make them again. Now we're going to prepare the sweet potato casserole without those unhealthy ingredients. So I baked these sweet potatoes in the microwave for about 7 or 8 minutes each. And now I'm going to scoop out the potatoes into a large bowl and get those out as best I can. You can do this about half an hour ahead so that they're easy to handle. Now, what could be simpler than taking 3 or 4 sweet potatoes and adding just a little bit of orange juice, maybe about 3 tablespoons or so, and beating them up until they're fluffy. Usually I like to beat these up until they're almost fluffy, but before I do that, I'm going to add about half of a small can of crushed pineapple in its own juice. If you like a little more, you can add a little more. I like to have that with the juice. And then I'm going to add some seasonings that will give these wonderful flavor. First, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of allspice in. And you really don't need to measure these ingredients. You really can't add too much or really too little. A little bit of ginger. And I like this with lots of cinnamon. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I will beat them again until they're fluffy. And this is about ready to go. I'm going to transfer the sweet potato mixture into a pan that I've sprayed with some vegetable oil spray. And get that nice and even. You also can use an 8 by 8 inch metal plant or a glass pan as well. And then on top, I'm going to put a little bit of toasted walnuts. I've toasted these in the microwave already, and I'm going to sprinkle those on the top, a little more. And finally, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on the top for a little color and a little flavor. And it's ready to go into the oven. I'm going to put this in the oven at about 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes. Let's take a look at the sweet potato casserole. I'm just going to grab that out of there very carefully. Beautiful, nice and golden around the edges. And here we have roasted root vegetables that we've done today, as well as a no-guilt sweet potato casserole. They're great, whether it's holiday time or any time. Enjoy. I'm Melanie Polk.
And joining me now is our favorite nutritionist, Melanie Polk. Well, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
We've had you so many times. It's wonderful to see you
well,
again.
It's great to be back.
Great resource. Tell us a little about the Senior Nutrition Program which you run.
Well, the Senior Nutrition Program is a program that's funded by the Older Americans Act. And so it's a federally funded program primarily. And this is a program that has two major components. One is the congregate meals program, and the other one is the home delivered meals program. The congregate program allows seniors in the county to go to a variety of sites. We actually have about 40 different sites throughout the county.
I mean, it's like senior centers.
Yes, yes, and people can go out and they can enjoy a healthy lunch, and they also can take part in a variety of activities and lectures and classes, and they also get to be more involved in socialization. And these kinds of programs help people to stay in their homes longer, provides them with a healthy meal during the day. We know that some of the people who go to these programs, this is the only meal that they're eating throughout the day. So it's a program that we know is really helping the seniors in the county, yes.
So you said there are 40 sites, so I guess we can, how do we find out where this...
Well, there is a brochure that's available through the Senior Nutrition Program, and if you'd like a brochure, you can call 240-777-3810.
Well,
that's
that would
the
be
main number.
Big help to find out where they are. And
absolutely, and they are at many of the senior centers that many of the seniors around the county know well, such as Holiday Park Senior Center, Margaret Schweinhout, East County, Praisner, Long Branch.
Right, and then you have another program, which is the
Home Delivered Meals Program, and this is a program where people who are at home and they are not able to cook for themselves, they're not able to get out and do the grocery shopping, but they actually don't have anybody who can provide these services for them. And so the Home Delivered Meals Program will bring 2 meals to them each day, Monday through Friday.
That's terrific. You also have a senior nutrition hotline.
We have a nutrition hotline that's specifically for seniors. It's a designated telephone number that's available on Wednesday mornings between 9 and 11 a.m.
Well,
and let me give you that number.
Let's have that number.
It's 240-777-1100.
So I can ask you a lot of questions about what's good for me to eat or not to eat?
Seniors call me about all kinds of things related to the sodium in their diet, how they can best select items in the grocery store, what's the best cereal to buy. Caregivers call me. We get a variety of callers around the county, and we get many people who have called a number of times.
What a great resource you are. Thanks for coming in.
You're very welcome.
Don't forget that you can access a great deal of information about county services for seniors by going to the Montgomery County Senior website at www.montgomerycountymd.gov/seniors, or call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000. Also, we have a new email address that you can use to send us comments or suggestions for future topics on our show. It's seniorstoday@montgomerycountymd.gov. And as always, thank you for watching Seniors Today.